Welcome to Spotlight TV with me, Matt the DJ. Thanks so much for tuning in again this week. Hope you all enjoyed the first episode last week. I've brought in a friend of mine this week, KYRO. He's been doing some killer stuff. He's remixed Dave Winnell recently and had some of his original stuff going really well in the ARIA Buzz charts. So here's a video of KYRO doing his thing in the club, and then we'll jump on for a chat. There he is. KYRO, welcome. How are you? Very, very good, mate. What's been happening? How's lockdown going for you at the moment?
The last 5 years of my life, really, which largely revolved around sitting indoors anyway. I largely only leave the house to walk the dog, let's face it.
Very cool. How's the music going in lockdown? Are you feeling like you've been able to put a lot more time into it and get more stuff done?
Yeah, so I guess the initial kind of 6 weeks we had there back in March, where the probably the first mayhem kind of hit, I found it a little tricky to, I guess, see any long-term visions of what the hell was even going to be, you know, the future. What I mean, it kind of dawned on me that with a lot of these avenues shut down and whatever, that it was going to be an interesting journey from here on for the musician, DJ, producer, and we're going to be facing a new world, and it's going to catch a lot of people out. But I think if you're prepared and you're half decent at the things that you do in the first place, then you should be able to get by all right.
Yeah, definitely.
But
so
in terms of like what I'm writing now, I'm feeling a lot better about the situation. I've just kind of heads down, bum up after that 6 week period and getting back into it. And yeah, like I said, I live largely from my home anyway, so it wasn't too much of a shake-up.
Wasn't too much of a change really from reality.
Pretty much.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
So have you, like, with the writing process and the creative process, not having to juggle it around playing gigs and touring and things like that, have you felt like you've been able to get into more of a routine and sort of get things flowing easier, or was it better when you were playing gigs and you had that busyness?
Look, 6 in one, half a dozen in the other, really. I guess, yeah, I guess there's definitely been pros to this period in the sort of being able to kind of relax and see things a little differently. I mean, I'm certainly not as entrenched in the idea that you need to be doing this every 6 weeks and you need to have a new song out and you need to have this, that, and that, like those sorts of pressures, I guess, that I'd certainly put on myself 3-4 months ago for the last 6 years or whatever. I certainly felt a lot of that stripped back and kind of gone, oh, you know what? Like, I just kind of going to make things that I guess I enjoy making or a bit more fun. So I've definitely got a new approach to the process out of this whole experience. Yeah. And I'll carefully not waffle on because I am a classic waffle on-er.
That's fine. And I guess going back to the start, like when you first started making music, when did you feel like you really got on top of it? Because I hear from a lot of producers and stuff that they make so much and can never actually feel comfortable in getting something out there. How was it for you sort of getting to that point where you were like, okay, I'm happy releasing music now and I'm not just going to keep it all backlogged?
Sometimes it's not necessarily up to the artist. There can be so many machinations around the way music is released, artists are perceived, momentum, all the different things that you kind of need to have going right for you at any given time. The bigger and more popular you get, the more quality control you obviously have to have, but you don't need to probably release as frequently, I think, when you're maybe at the level of a Fisher or a Dom Dollar, because the quality of music you're putting out is either exceptional, catchy, or just naturally getting the algorithmic spins. That's not to say that they don't deserve it, but once you get on a certain trajectory, it can become a little bit easier. I guess back to where you kind of sit with in the sort of circle of my world is, yeah, sometimes the quality can certainly take a back end to the quantity. So I think probably within the last 2 to 3 years was when I decided to try to be a little bit more switched on and engaged with everything, which is a little bit easier said than done, because I find a lot of what we do as DJs is just market research. Different venues you play at, you find out what works and what doesn't work until you eventually shape a set either around your music as a producer or your music as an entertainer. So yeah, man, I mean, I haven't played a gig in like 3 or 4 months. So like, I don't even really, you know what I mean? Like, I don't even know at the moment what any of that sort of looks like. Yeah. So yeah, I think pre-COVID, I had a lot of pressure that I put on myself. Post-COVID, I'm feeling a lot more relaxed about things and more into the idea of taking time with it and not rushing it.
Yeah, perfect. And I think that's going to be the interesting thing when COVID lifts, if it ever does.
When and if she does.
Yeah, is what the sound is going to be like and how clubs are going to be, because I feel like they might have gotten into a bit of a routine and a comfortability, and it's going to be a real shake up, I think, when people come back and start playing all this stuff that they've made during lockdown.
Well, one of two things will happen, in my opinion. We'll either continue the reliance on legacy acts, which I think is a hindrance on progress in many regards. Not to say that like people at the top of their game for 40 years should somehow magically step back so that someone else can take a turn. But like, I know we're going to have a bit of a AFL chat a little bit later, but for me, like, you know, there should be a somewhat of a rough timeline. And, if you're going to be that sort of act that is at the top but still trying to play 6 gigs a day, I don't know if that market's necessarily going to be there after this. What I'm hoping for is, because of this sort of border control lockdowns and stuff, we're going to have a lot more of an influx of supporting Aussie music. Yeah, and getting behind the things that we have, because I think as a global product, Australian music, we actually are probably at the forefront of a lot of it, really. Yeah. Whether it's Flume, whether it's Will Sparks, pardon me, you know, Melbourne Bounce, Aussie style. There's so many different genres and variations that have been spawned from this country. So I'm hoping that in some way we get back around behind our Aussies, kind of, you know, make that kind of the push instead of relying so heavily on overseas legacy acts.
Yeah, and I mean,
sell out venues.
It's gonna be so hard for promoters and touring agents to bring internationals to the country, because
I mean, it already was. To be fair.
Yeah, because we're so fucking far away from everyone.
Yeah, exactly. It costs top dollar to get acts over here, and then you've got to make sure you recoup that in order to continue your festivals running. So
yeah,
like, you know, the machinations, again, as I said before, in running an event, let alone being an artist, let alone all of it, you know, you got to have a lot of luck, but also be, you know, good at what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I asked you to send me in a couple of songs, which we're going to play and we're going to talk about. The first one is Royksopp, What Else Is There? And it's a Thin White Duke remix. What is it about this one?
Okay, so this particular tune probably comes from that noughties period a decade ago. And I think the reason this one stuck with me is that it's so euphoric, and it's one of those songs when back during that period, songs were like 7 to 8 minutes long because you needed to switch your vinyl over or switch your CD over, or people had a longer attention span. I don't know which one it is.
Flip through your CD wallet.
Exactly, you've got to find out where. Yeah. So I think that it is an 8-minute song, but it's a grower, and it's the sort of thing that you can just listen to over and over again. And the vocal is so damn good, so memorable, and just a really good remix of that tune.
Yeah, well, I'd actually forgotten the song until I brought it up earlier after you sent it through. So thank you for reminding me of the song. But yeah, here it is, Royksopp, What Else Is There? And it's the Thin White Duke remix. So there it was. That was the Royksopp. What else is there? The Thin White Duke remix. You're on Spotlight TV with KYRO and me, Matt the DJ. Now, KYRO, mad Collingwood supporter.
See, this is the thing. So I'm like a huge AFL fan, but I was born and raised in a Collingwood household. So that's the first love there. But I have a very high appreciation for the entire sport.
Okay.
So I'm not one of those one-eyed typical no-teeth supporters.
How do you find that living in Sydney? Is there a lot of opposition when you go to the pub and you ask the bartender to put the AFL on? Or is it pretty good?
Like I said, I haven't left the house for 5 years, so I don't go to the pub to ask him to change it onto the AFL.
Yeah.
No, listen, no, AFL's pretty big here in Sydney. I mean, my favourite thing, though, is beating the Swans and going to the SCG with my buddies.
Yeah.
Because it only happens once a year. They always come to Sydney. Somehow it's always around my birthday. And losing that game and being there is so bad. I just hate it with a passion. But being there and winning and just being able to stare them all in the face, winning an away game when it's you're at home, but like you know what I mean? Like when you're against everyone else and your team wins, it's like, oh yeah, the boys.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, some
Collingwood
trivia. We're gonna test your support level right here. So,
Jesus.
First question: in what year was the Collingwood Football Club established?
Well, I know we're over 150 years old, and if it's 2020, geez, I'm pretty sure we celebrated that not that long ago. So, you're looking for an approximate number. My maths is terrible. 2020, so 1920. And then I'm going to take off another 50 odd years. So I'm going to say something like 1882.
Oh, 1892.
1892.
92.
Close.
Yes, close.
All right, off by a decade.
Next question. In 2017, who was Collingwood's captain?
Scotty Pendlebury.
Good.
Oh, sorry, that could be Maxwell. No, it was Scotty Pendlebury.
Scotty Pendlebury, yes. And 10 years prior, in 2007, who was the captain?
Sorry, we'll just repeat the start of that.
And in 10 years prior to that, so 2007, who was the captain?
Geez, if it wasn't Nick Maxwell, I can't remember if Buckley handed it over to Maxwell or if there was someone in between there. 07, he won it in 2010 as the captain. I'm going to say Nick Maxwell.
Nathan Buckley. Oh, man.
That must have been like his last year or two as a player. This is shocking. I'm not looking crash hot right now.
We'll just block.
I'm close.
We'll block this on YouTube in Victoria, so you don't. You ever come to Victoria
after his latest scandal? So
yeah, you ever come here to play a gig again, you might not get recepted that well by the Collingwood supporters. And what are the first names of the brothers on the Collingwood 2017?
And the 2017 Collingwood brothers, is it the Rockers? So Sav and Anthony, or
2007 team brothers?
2017, the brothers. 07 would have been playing with Bucks. Brothers in 07.
Do you want one of the brothers?
Give me a first name or something like that. Yeah.
One of the brothers is Reese.
Yeah. The Shaws.
The Shaws. Heath and Reese Shaw.
Well, they're actually cousins, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, okay. They're not brothers.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll have to talk to Google later on then because
that's all right. I feel like I got one back there, so that's like 2 points to me.
Yeah. Now the second song that you sent in is Vindata, Skrillex, and NSTASIA, Favor. This is a bit different from the Royksopp song. So what's the go with this one?
Yeah, so you're going to find that the taste is probably pretty eclectic and pretty broad, but I still tried to keep it within the dance realm. So Skrillex has just been like a pinnacle for such a long period now of dance music. Definitely turned the game on its head in that sort of 2011, 2012 period when his My Name is Skrillex EP dropped. And I've just been such a huge fan for such a long time, and I'm one of the advocates that says that it doesn't matter what he does, you can always tell it's him, because
Yeah.
there are so many little things that he does that you just know it's him.
Yeah.
And so this particular tune, the reason I picked this one is because I'm probably just a slightly fraction older than I like to admit that when it comes to listening to heavy dubstep and bass music. I used to love it, absolutely love my bro step. But I find that some of Skrille's more, instrumental style music is amazing, and this vocal again, I think, is incredible, and it's got one of my favorite lines. It's "Oh so swift, they call me Taylor," and I was just like, that just stuck. That just like I was like, that is such a great line.
It gets in there. And just
I'll let you.
Itself.
Oh right, yeah, earworm.
No. Very good. All right, so here it is, Vindata, Skrillex, and NSTASIA, Favor on Spotlight TV.
Yeah, I like it when we're on our own, so I keep you here when really I'm alone. You know just what'll keep me in the zone, yeah. You give me something real that I can feel. Cause when we're high, all we speak in silence. A language only we know. It's something sure about how you hold mine. The more you pull, the higher we go. Really, babe, you fucking with a vibe right now. I usually keep it pushing, I'll never stick around. I move so swift, they call me Taylor. But now you got me feeling easy like a messing with a feeling unknown right now. If I let you hear, would I be wrong right now? You never really know where this will take us. I think I'm about to do myself a favor. If I let you hear, would I be wrong right now? But you know how it feels, you a thug. And that's what I love, that's what I like. Oh, I ain't tryna be the one, but you do. Just know that you're not alone. I can know while I'm up in your arms. And me that I feel right at home. Oh, really, babe, you fucking with a vibe right now. I usually keep it pushing, I'll never stick around. So swift, they call me Taylor. But now you got me feeling easy like a layup. Messing with a feeling unknown right now. If I let you hear, would I be wrong right now? You never really know where this will take us. I think I'm about to do myself a favor.
Ooh. It is actually so juicy. And I completely understand. I hadn't really heard anyone say it like how you said it. When Skrillex brings out a song, you hear it and you kind of just automatically recognize it as Skrillex, and you can't put your finger on what it is about the track that makes it sound like Skrillex, but it just sounds like Skrillex, everything he does. And I don't know how he just seems like he's a step in front of the game like he's from the future or something, and he releases this track, and then everyone's like, whoa, and then like he just sets all these trends all the time with everything he releases.
That's what he is. He is a trendsetter. But more importantly, yeah, I think with this dance music stuff, it's really tricky to retain your identity sometimes. And not only does he do that in his appearance and who he is and who he projects, and I think it's genuine. But yeah, there's just something about his music. And I mean, his history is obviously that he was the lead singer from First to Last.
Yeah.
And then I'm pretty sure when he got into the dubstep thing, I thought the rumor was that he spent a ton of time with the Noisier guys learning sound design. So if you add all that stuff up, it makes so much sense that not only musically does it make sense, but sonically it is so impressive. And he just manages to get sounds to move, and the vocals, the way he makes and does vocals, you just go, that's bullshit. That's unfair.
Can you just stop? Just give some to the bottom feeders, please.
Anything. Oh, by the way, I'm pretty sure you were right. The Shaw brothers are brothers, not cousins.
Oh, okay.
Their uncle is Tony Shaw, and that's where I got a little confused. So I failed all those questions, and you were right.
Oh, that's all right. Well, you can just stay in Sydney, mate.
It's all right. I owe you a beer and a pie at the next footy game we go to.
Definitely. Very good. Now, what are you looking forward to the most? Like, doesn't have to be a gig, doesn't have to be going to a club or anything like that. But the one thing you're looking forward to the most about when COVID is all said and done, or when it calms down, being able to be free and go and do things again. What's the one thing?
Oh, goodness gracious me. Look, I'm not that unimpressed with how life goes that I need that one thing to trigger me into some sort of level of happiness. I don't know. I might have interpreted that question wrong and there was a really simple answer, but there's not any one thing that I'm just hanging to do. I mean, it's winter, so I can't wait to go to the beach again. I feel like our last summer was incredibly stolen by bushfires and then via the COVID lockdown. So as someone who grew up in Bondi Beach, I am definitely missing just getting into the ocean and experiencing that warm, salty water.
Yeah. And one other question, gigs. You've played a lot of gigs. You've been playing for a very long time. Is there sort of like a period of time where you were playing gigs that you would like to go back to? Like crowds and, you know, the people you were playing with and the vibe of the places where you were playing? Is there a certain, you know, time period in your career that you'd want to go back to?
So like probably like there's a couple of points I'll go through there. In Sydney, definitely pre-lockouts because that had a dramatic downturn on that, but I don't want to dig too deep into that because it's just
that's a whole nother episode.
It's please. That's an hour-long special.
Yeah.
So I just kind of think that there was a period in time there, and I don't know if it necessarily correlates with the music that was being played or the level of connectivity we have to being able to finding music. But yeah, I definitely remember a period there sort of because I played my first gig in 2009. So anywhere from sort of 2009 up to 2015, I mean, in Sydney, King's Cross was flourishing. You could play 3 gigs a weekend and, you know, no one would give a hoot except for some maybe medial inner club politics that sometimes happens in some of these venues. But look, man, you know, it might seem a little bit weird, but like, or like being like a bro or like dated or whatever. But there was that period there where like the sort of Swedish House Mafia, Tommy Trash has ruled the world. And that sort of big room house, Calvin Harris was a big influence there. I don't know, like there was parts of me that enjoyed the euphoric, not necessarily being told to put my fucking hands up, but knowing that the lyrics and the chords and the drops resonated not just like with you rhythmically, but you kind of connected to the lyrics of the song, and you know, we found love in a hopeless place. I mean,
yeah,
there's so many different different tunes there that I thought were really quite beautiful, and obviously a lot more melodic than I think a lot of the stuff going on right now. I mean, I make a lot of tech house, and I play a lot of that sort of now. That's just because of the natural evolution of music. I don't think it's necessarily wanting to be in on one thing of being that guy. It's just kind of watching the trends and being always able to adapt to whatever's happening at the time, while still being able to maintain your art form in a DJ and have fun and enjoy the crowd and enjoy the audience, and not try to be so serious and stand there like a douche, not looking at anyone in the eyes and enjoying the time you have with them, you know.
Just looking down at your decks. Like,
well, yeah, like looking at a knob for 6 minutes whilst you think about a transition, instead of actually engaging with the audience who paid money to be out and have a good time. So,
yeah,
you know, it works for some people. I can't personally pull it off.
No, and neither can I. Like, look,
I'm too awkward.
I'll put my hand up and I'll say that I've tried to be that cool guy behind the decks a couple of times and just sort of like have my hat down and not really make eye contact and just focus on my decks in front of me. And I'm kind of like, I want to just look at people. I want to see them having fun and being receptive to the music that I'm playing, because I feel like that's the whole experience, is that connection with the person that's up there and stuff. So I don't know, but again, like you said, those guys that do that, that's their act, and that's, you know, that works for them. So I guess
some genres of music really works well with too.
Yeah, and I guess it's the club as well that you're at.
Yeah,
and the time of night as well.
Like I said, it works for some people. You and me just aren't in that camp.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Now, I guess talking about being a little less serious, this next track that you sent me is, I guess, one of those ones that I have on my Spotify playlists, and it comes on when I'm out exercising, and I just get that little bit of extra step in my walk. It's Lady Gaga and Ariana Grande, Rain on Me, and it's the Purple Disco Machine remix. Now, I'm a huge fan of Purple Disco Machine. They just seem like they just keep punching shit out, like remix after remix. And
him and David Penn are just the disco gods right now, aren't they?
Yeah. So we'll play that now. It's Rain on Me.
We'll talk about it afterwards. Yeah,
we will talk about it afterwards. It's the Purple Disco Machine remix of Rain on Me.
It's coming down on me.
Absolute tune again. Now, if I'm mistaken, did someone like Alesso help with that original Rain on Me track on production?
Well, see, this is the thing. This is the thing that doesn't make sense to me is when people are like, "Oh, I hate EDM," and it's like, yeah, but like these guys are producing all the modern pop music,
Yeah.
like Diplo, Tiesto, Alesso. Like these guys are all Skrillex. These guys are working behind the scenes, writing all this shit that you're consuming.
Yeah.
So it flabbergasts me when people are like, "I hate EDM. I hate this," and you're just like, you don't even realize it's the same people for the last 20 years. It wouldn't surprise me if Alesso had contributed greatly to the original. Now that you've said that out loud, that clicks massively with me. I don't necessarily delve into the sort of writers of pop tunes all the time, but you can definitely hear that influence now that you've said that.
I think I just saw it on Twitter or something.
Sorry, what you saying?
I think I saw it on Twitter or something that he had an influence. You know, he had his finger in that pie. Like,
fuck yeah, more power to him.
So
yeah.
And I mean, you're exactly right. Like, even Disclosure did a lot of work with Khalid on his album.
Yeah, man. Yeah, they're all intertwined. You know?
And then there's those people like you just said, and they're like, oh, I don't even like dance music. I like pop music, and it's like, but the people making your pop music are the people making the dance music. So it's kind of
it's all that, and it's like you're trying to like you're trying to poke something out of something that's just kind of not really there. Like, I mean, yeah, like these labels know how this stuff works. They know, you know, it's, you know, no one likes seeing the sausage get made, but trust me, the sausages get made.
And the sausages taste damn good. Now just
no, but sorry, just quickly on that song, that version was so yeah, I love pop singers, and those two are probably you know, two of the most modern recognizable voices of this decade anyway. And Purple Disco Machine, like we said before, is your guy when it comes to those kind of disco edits, and I just thought that everything clicked on this version.
It was, it's good because it can be played on radio as well, but then as well you could play it closing set at a massive festival. You know, it could be that closing.
You could play that at a beach side at Ibiza, out at Ushuaia, out in the pool. You know what I mean? A sun, or imagine it actually raining, and you were raising your cocktail and you were listening to Purple Disco, and it was like rain on me, and it just the clouds just dumped, and you'd be like living.
Man, now just a quick tip. There's obviously going to be a lot of people in COVID at the moment, lockdown, you know, first timers cracking out onto Ableton, all kinds of different doors. And it can be a bit of a, lack of a better term, bit of a mind fuck opening up Ableton or like Logic and stuff for the first time. Where would you sort of
the best syllabus, right?
Yeah, where would you sort of direct people that are just putting their toe in the water?
Yep, great, good question. So the first thing I would do is there's a service called LinkedIn, and they have, obviously, you know, we've all heard of LinkedIn, but they have this thing called Lynda, and Lynda is their online tutorial service. Now, it costs roughly about, and now I think it's been bought too, so I'm just a little bit behind on that part, but it was called Lynda. It might be called LinkedIn Learning now. And you basically sign up $30 a month, and it has unlimited back catalogs of just all the things you can imagine you need to learn in multiple different fields. I'm talking cameras, I'm talking computers, I'm talking doors.
Yeah.
On there, you'll find a couple of courses. One is Rick Schmuck's Introduction to Ableton, either Live 9 or Live 10, and it's about 14 hours. And let me tell you something. If you sit down for a week and you go through that course 3 times, I guarantee you by the end of that, you will be a lot more proficient at understanding how Ableton works and all the little nuances that come with like EQs and compressors. He doesn't go fully into detail about what individual things does, but he'll show you exactly where it is and how you put it all together. The next thing I would do after smashing that is there's a couple of other things in there, like Learning Massive, which is a VST plugin, which is a virtual synth. Then there's like Beats, learning how to beat produce, so writing like drums and stuff like that. And then once you've done that. So from my opinion, you get a real bang for buck there because it's $30 a month.
Oh, yeah.
And if you have the time right now, like everyone does, there's no excuse. In a week's time, you'll know proficiently Ableton. And then the next two things I would do after that is there's a guy called Busyworks Beats on YouTube. Now, I'm not particularly musically trained. Everyone else in my family is, but I missed that boat. I'm a bit more computer based. So Busyworks Beats helps break down how to write chords and melodies using a bit more of a mathematical equation than actually having to remember keys and notes and all the little things that you just might freak you out. It breaks it down into numbers, which I really enjoyed, and it helped me dramatically. And lastly, if you've got another few hours up your sleeve, I would then search In the Mix on YouTube, particularly his sound design courses. And then I'll send you all the links for this if you want to include any of this in however you post this. But yeah, so In the Mix, he has a series of 10 to 20 minute YouTube videos all about sound design, from basic fundamentals all the way through to how to make an 808 kick, how to make a glitchy bass, how to make this, that, and the other. And he's really good at explaining it in a way that anyone can understand. So based on those three things, the LinkedIn Learning, the Beginner's Guide to Ableton is in that at $30 a month. Busyworks Beats is most of it's free on YouTube, and In the Mix is most of it's free on YouTube. You can support them by buying a couple of courses or their preset packs. But honestly, that to me, if you can smash that out in 2, 3, 4 weeks and just go for it, I guarantee you'll see dramatic results from those three guys real quick.
Wow. Comprehensive. That's so good. Well, yeah, I will definitely, anyone that wants to like get those links, I'll drop them down in the comments. KYRO will send them through to me. And yeah, perfect. Anyway, so we've played your 3 tracks. I've picked one track. I've brought one into the mix. It's definitely my Sunday afternoon go-to when I'm just chilling out on the balcony or I'm just doing absolutely nothing.
Do tell.
It's Disclosure, Get Close. Have you heard this one before?
Ooh, is this their new one?
Yeah, it's off the Ecstasy EP.
Yep. I can't say I've heard this one in particular, but I like energy, so I'm sure I'm going to like this.
It's very, very close. So here it is, Disclosure, Get Close on Spotlight TV.
But don't do. You stress, you stop, don't move. You think, you talk, but don't do. You stress, you stop, don't move. I just want to get close. 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 I just want to get close.
Disclosure, Get Close. You're back with KYRO and me, Matt the DJ, on Spotlight TV. Now, KYRO, before we wrap things up, I have a question that you're probably going to be familiar with that I'm going to ask you here. Guilty pleasure in lockdown. What is it? What's the one thing you've just been hanging
What's the guilty pleasure bin?
Yes.
Me, yeah. Sorry, my girlfriend just walked past. And she's wearing her new pants, and she looks really cute. But we were also trying to work out what what it's been. And so we've definitely been playing far too much Let's Go Pikachu and Pokemon Sword on Switch.
What?
We got well and truly stuck into a bit of gaming for the first sort of 2-3 months there, and we caught them all.
All the Pokemons that could be caught during lockdown.
Oh my god, we
caught.
have a very different playing styles when it comes to playing Pokemon. I'm more of a let's catch them, let's kick their asses, and she's like, let's stop in at every hut and have a talk to everyone. And I'm like, nah.
Let's just socialize and be friends.
What's that?
Let's just socialize and be friends.
Yeah, exactly. Let's socialize with all the people inside the Pokemon houses.
Very good. All right, KYRO. Well, thank you so much for being on the show.
Pleasure.
Right down in that box down there. When I get my finger, it's down there anyway. Down there somewhere.
One of them.
One of them ones at KYRO Oz on all socials. Definitely check him out on Spotify. His most recent remix of Dave Winnell's track Boomerang is a certified wall slapper. I've been consistently playing it, and keep an eye out because I'm sure there's going to be plenty more coming from KYRO after lockdown.
Always.
And even more during lockdown. So again, thanks KYRO, and tune in next week to have another episode of Spotlight TV come to you in your lounge room during lockdown, and keep an eye on my socials to see who's going to be supporting on that show. Thanks for tuning in.